Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Monday, March 28, 2016. Looking at precipitation over the past 7 days, you can see that most of the precipitation has fallen across the northern two-thirds of the Great Basin. However, despite this precipitation, we are still below normal in many areas. The areas doing the best are the higher terrain of central and southeastern Idaho, as well as portions of northeastern Nevada and the higher terrain in Utah. But overall, the Great Basin is just a bit below normal for the time of year. Looking at the satellite this morning, you can see a low pressure system centered over the Pacific Northwest, and that is sending quite a bit of energy into the Great Basin with snow showers across much of the area this morning. The ventilation index for today is quite good. With the exception of portions of Utah, you can see most of the area is in the excellent mixing range. Looking at the transport winds and mixing height in more detail, you can see that transport winds are pretty healthy across the entire Great Basin with the exception of the small area over northeastern Utah and far eastern Nevada. And if we look at the mixing heights, we see a similar trend with high mixing heights across the majority of the area, although we do see some lower mixing heights across a small portion of northeastern Utah. And so with the lower transport winds and mixing heights across that small pocket of northeastern Utah, that's why we are seeing the lower mixing values there. Moving on to Tuesday, that low pressure system moves right overhead the Great Basin, and as a result, we will continue to see good to excellent mixing across much of the area. Looking in more detail, we do keep those strong transport winds across some areas. On Tuesday, those stronger transport winds will be across northeastern Nevada and southeastern Utah, and we will see pretty good mixing heights across the area with the best mixing heights across southeastern Utah. On Wednesday, that system begins to split and move off to the east, and we'll see another day of good mixing across the area moving into Wednesday. Taking a quick look at the Utah Forecast Clearing Index from the National Weather Service in Salt Lake City, you can see that similar trend reflected with excellent mixing across most of the area today and tomorrow, with a decrease in mixing across northwestern Utah moving into Wednesday. The WPC forecasts pretty healthy precipitation accumulation amounts across much of the Great Basin in the 3-day period. You can see that precipitation is focused on the northern portion of the Great Basin with the best accumulations across southeastern Idaho, eastern Nevada, and northern Utah. Some precipitation estimates are as high as 2.5 inches. Moving on to Thursday, we'll keep northerly flow across the Great Basin, and as a result, most of the area will continue to see that good to excellent mixing, although western Nevada will start to see mixing start to plummet. As we move into Friday, high pressure will begin to build over the Great Basin, and the ventilation index will continue to trend downwards. As you can see, a larger part of the area is now in that Port of Fair category of mixing. And that trend continues into Saturday with high pressure building over the area. You see an even larger portion of the Great Basin with the Port of Fair mixing. So we are looking at better mixing across the Great Basin for the first part of the week, with that mixing trending downwards towards the end of the week with high pressure building. The WPC is not showing any significant precipitation accumulation forecast in the 4 to 5 day period. Maybe just some light showers over portions of Utah in that 4 to 5 day time range. Finally, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for above normal temperatures across the entire Great Basin, with above average precipitation across Utah and portions of Nevada.